Molo Sambonani, hello, how's it? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Friday edition of the show. It's Friday, yeah, bo. Which always means the weekend is just around the corner. And indeed, Shabbat, a day of rest for us within the Jewish community and really those who are observant of a Sabbath, is also just around the corner. Molo Sanbonani, welcome to it. This is Vuka Nazo, your morning news analysis show. My name is Sikhle Ngobese, aka Big Daddy Liberty. What a morning this is, insofar as some of the news items that we'll get into. But before I get into all of that good stuff, just a few housekeeping rules. Remember, guys, seeing that this is a live show, do me a solid favor, hit that like button, whether you're watching this simulcast on YouTube, Facebook, or on Twitter. Good morning, good morning, good morning. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube, an even bigger favor from you is, how about you join our family over there of subscribers by subscribing to the show? I'm really trying to reach that 40,000 subscriber mark. So please do me a favor and join us over there. And of course, hey, with that being said, we have a website. Yeah, but yes, BigDaddyLiberty.com. That's BigDaddyLiberty.com. There, of course, you can become part of the growing number of ordinary folks like you who love the show and are financially supporting the show. Put aside between, let's say, 50 to 100 Rand a month, really. If you can commit to that, that'll be an awesome, awesome, awesome gig, because it really helps us put this show together. Speaking about those particular commitments, guys, we're going to build a little big BDL club soon. So there'll be some nice merch that go for those who do support the show. So please consider becoming a part of the BDL club. Let's coin that word now, the BDL club. With that being said, thank you very much for those who are contributors of the show. Guys, I do see your support, and it's greatly, greatly appreciated. I'll do a show one of these days to thank you fellas and ladies out there. If you like the show, by the way, if you like how we begin your morning, do me a favor, then join our friends over at the Daily Friend. They come to you Mondays to Thursday live at 1:30 p.m. I know they're on a bit of a break at the moment. They'll probably only be back in January, but do yourself a favor, go to the website nonetheless, dailyfriend.co.za. Great news analysis from those folks there. Now, with that jibber jabber out of the way, how about we get straight into the news? It's been a very, very interesting week, has it not? From literally the stabbing of political prisoners to the clown world situation of the unemployment data in this country to damn well near a president rather resigning last night, or nearly at least resigning last night. What am I talking about? Well, I'm talking, of course, about one Cyril Ramaphosa, who, you remember, we spoke about it yesterday on the show, is under a lot of pressure because of that report that was released, that Section 89 committee that was initially established by Parliament to look into whether Ramaphosa faces or has a case, rather, to answer in relation to the Pala scandal. That's his farm over in Limpopo, where, you know, from allegations of money being stashed in sofas to all sorts of shenanigans, indeed, involving undeclared foreign currency, money stolen from those sofas and then repatriated via a illegal police unit made up of his bodyguards and yada, 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 a litany, if you will, of allegations facing the president, which that committee was meant to basically answer the question, is there a case to answer here? And if there is a case, then should he face impeachment by Parliament? In other words, the prospect of removal by Parliament. And that report, the Section 89 report, came back after, which you'll remember, the committee headed up by former Chief Justice Ngobo, came back and said, hey man, this homie needs to face some form of inquiry, indeed, and maybe even impeachment, because it's looking rather dicey. Now, again, let me just go to a piece here, because since the release of that report, as I said, there has been many a voice calling for the resignation of the president, from Buffalo Bill, Dlamini Zuma, to Lindiwe Sisulu, to that again, those are people within his party, to all sorts of other characters from Action SA, the DA, basically calling for the dissolving of parliament and indeed fresh elections. And we were told last night, if you remember, this is where it got interesting. We were told last night the president is about to address the country. And boy, oh boy, did we not rub our hands in anticipation, those of us at least, who don't give a flying fudge about politicians, and we're just enjoying the spectacle of them eating each other up. Let me just put this on screen. Give me 2 seconds here. That great announcement we were told last night became a bit of a damp squib. Womp, womp. As the president eventually opted at the 11th hour to bail on that particular briefing, basically citing, sending his spokesperson out to say, hey man, chill folks, homie's going to take a bit more time to think about this thing, as opposed to what he was going to do likely last night, which, as all people were suspecting, was going to resign. Now, let me read this piece in The Independent. Woo! I'm sure the Independent newsrooms were literally dancing and jiving like circus clowns yesterday at the news of the prospect of him resigning. You remember this newspaper really came out and was caught out as being biased against Ramaphosa. But nonetheless, Ramaphosa reportedly tells advisors he would rather step down than be pushed out. This, of course, is according to The Independent, where after a high-level meeting with his advisors and people in Ramaphosa's close unit, The Star, that's one of the publications under The Independent, also understands that Ramaphosa was disappointed by people he trusted in the ANC and felt betrayed by some members of the NEC. He's quoted as having said he would rather resign, or rather, a source rather is quoted as saying, he would rather resign than face the public court in Parliament and in the courts. In a statement he made in his submission to the Independent panel, Ramaphosa said he categorically denied that he had violated his oath in any way, and he similarly denies that he is guilty of any allegations made against him. Here's my take on this. Here's my take, and I'll be very brief. You've got to understand politics. 24 hours is a long time in politics. Here's the man who perhaps initially felt, holy heck, when that report came out, holy heck, this is it, this is tickets, let me resign. And other political operators likely would have come into the picture and said, hey, dude, chill, relax. Have a look at how Jacob Zuma did it. Have a look at how any other of the corrupt characters in our political elites did it, by delaying and delaying and delaying. Delaying does two things, because politicians know this about South Africans generally. South Africans, generally speaking, have goldfish memories when it comes to our politics. We will be outraged by something in the here and now and forget it by tomorrow. So buying time is often a strategy by politicians to dribble, distract, and have you forget something. So you can bet your bottom dollar that the calculation that was made was yesterday, Cyril, chill. Don't resign if that was going to be your intention. Instead, give yourself last night, today, Friday, and the weekend to make what will be a litany, a host of phone calls to his political allies and his friends, and even people who are maybe lukewarm towards him, to make calls to shore up support so that by Monday comes, trust you me, by Monday comes, and also you can also assume that some of his friends in the corporate media will run interference for him and write all sorts of opinion pieces that sort of try and, water down what is happening at the moment, water down that report. Oh, the findings of that report weren't that bad, we'll be told, or he can challenge them, or yada, yada, yada. Cyril will likely want to put together all the resources he's always had, he's ridden into the presidency with. He'll want to ride all of those resources and wait for Monday to see what the political temperature is like. He'll wait for Monday to try and read the room and see what he does then. Bet your bottom dollar in that from today, over the weekend, there'll be furious phone calls being made to his allies, friends, and those who are lukewarm towards him. Say, guys, what should he do? Because he's not going to resign, and how should he play it out? And who will back him? That's how he's going to play it out, because all politicians do this. Jacob Zuma right now is still doing this, where he has a solid little horde of supporters who, even as the data and the evidence is overwhelming against Zuma. In fact, Julius Malema has exactly the same thing. He will rally his supporters and he'll grind this out and fight it out. And insofar as Ramaphosa's case, he'll try and see if he can make it to Nasrec at that political elective conference, in a couple of weeks, to see what his numbers look like and whether once he has enough numbers, he'll be voted in again. Because trust me, if he's voted in again as ANC president, then none of this Section 89 reports, none of the allegations around him will actually even matter. That and the fact that he knows the ANC actually needs him if they're going to have any semblance of a chance to try and win the election in 2024. The polling data indeed reflects that, where the ANC is already polling below 50%, but without Ramaphosa, the numbers look even bleaker. All right, folks, as we look to wrap it up this morning, I just want to raise an interesting development, breaking news in a sense, kind of, not really. It was breaking news yesterday, at least, where Janus Walus was said to be released yesterday, you remember, from prison under the medical parole, to be under medical parole supervision. Well, that not happening yesterday, and that was the breaking news, because the department, of course, citing, if I can find that article now, goodness me, there it is. The department now citing that, look, because he was stabbed in prison and is currently under medical supervision, as he obviously, assumingly, why am I forgetting the English word for, not repair? He's being healed. I thought of it in Zulu, my bad. But as he is sort of healing up, the department really basically took the decision that no, they're not going to release the man. There it is. Walus release delayed until he receives medical clearance. Of course, there's a picture of Janus there. You remember, of course, that Janus, according to this article in EWN, he was said to be released yesterday after the Constitutional Court last week set aside Justice Minister Ronald Lamola's March 2020 decision not to have granted Walus parole. It gave Lamola, that's the Minister of Justice, 10 days to free him, and those 10 days were set to expire, of course, on Thursday. However, that Walus was stabbed in prison earlier this week and has put a break on his release. Now, here's the way it gets interesting. In the run-up to Thursday, yesterday, there have been numerous pickets. We spoke about this yesterday on Vuka Nazo, outside the Constitutional Court, and of course outside Kgosi Mampuru prison, where Walus is being held. One of those protests was by the economic freedom fighters, those red in tooth and claw douchebags who blocked the N1 for most of the day yesterday, having people even ask the question, where the hell were the police? The amount of traffic and disruption they caused was absolutely insane. But in any event, the minister's office has issued a statement, that's Minister Lamola, saying he still needs to get the thumbs up from the medical team, and they said that by agreement between his legal rep and the state attorney, Walus's parole will now only be finalized after he's received the necessary medical clearance, end of quote. Again, the story is just one of those which really, it beggars belief to an extent as to just how lawless this country is. Look at how everything around this story has just descended into one form of lawlessness to another, from the attempted murder of this particular individual, the fact that it even had to go to court to have the highest court in the country declare that this man should be released on parole, to the gaggle of individuals, political characters who are using this incident to grift, to protest, to build their name, effectively to try and pretend as if they care about the Hani family or even care about the story. For them, it's just about PR at this stage, blocking freeways and making the lives of other people's, absolutely unbearable. Whereas if you really look at the story, for most South Africans don't actually care about Janus Walus. They really don't. For as much as they really empathize with the Hani family, in the grand scheme of things that we are facing as South Africans, the release of Janus Walus, or even wanting to protest his release, is really at the really at the bottom of the list of things that we care about as South Africans, which again begs the question, why are we not seeing more alertness? Why are we not seeing more protests, rather, on things that we really care about? The state of the economy, the fact that people can barely afford groceries, the fact that fuel prices have skyrocketed, the fact that people have lost unemployment. There are issues that we really need to deal with as South Africans, but instead our politicians are petty politicking over a basically near 70-year-old Polish dude in prison who got stabbed. Guys, our priorities need to start shaping up in a direction which serves South Africans and not serves the interests of these political elites who are just looking for their fair pound of flesh of media attention. Enough with the media whores, so that the loser of the week are really the ANC and the EFF, who have been protesting this issue as opposed to dealing with the real issues that we're facing. All right, folks, that's it for me today. Thank you for watching. This is the Friday edition of the show. I'll see you, of course, on Sunday evening at 8 p.m. for Liberty and Friends. We are going to open the lines once again, and we'll have some guests as we unpack this news. We can indeed dig even deeper into solid analysis into the president resigning, the Walus story, and other stories really that maybe haven't been covered. For instance, we'll even look at some international stories. What's happening at Twitter at the moment? What's happening in Ukraine? And more importantly, what is happening in China? Zakala in China right now, where the people of that country are literally about to revolt. But nonetheless, that will be Liberty and Friends this Sunday, 8 p.m. Do not miss it. With that being said, thank you for watching. I'll see you next week, Monday, insofar as Vuka Nazo, as we come to you on the show weekdays from 7 a.m. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you, as I said, on Sunday and on Monday. Have a great weekend. Shabbat Shalom.